Well, boys, you and we all jumped into a little game called FragPunk. The closed beta happened over the weekend. We got to check it out, and it was quick. It came, it went, and we're gonna give our thoughts on it now. I'm gonna recommend it right off the hop. I'm definitely interested to see where it goes from here. I had a good time. It was short-lived, but I had a fun time overall. That's my high level thoughts right there. Scott, what about you? Where are you sitting out here with FragPunk?
For FragPunk, I'm also going to recommend, but it's kind of a bit of a comparative recommendation. It's a genre that I'm not necessarily great at, and this was kind of my foot in the door. But like you said, it was such a short time. Corey, what did you think of this one?
Scott, I'm siding more with you than with Drew. I think we all had a good time here. I'm definitely going to recommend this game. There's some good bones here. We got a very short window at it, but I think the viewpoint we all got out of it was that they've got something here, and it's that Counter-Strike Valorant kind of baby that we now are playing, and that's what FragPunk really is presenting itself as. And I'm telling you guys, I was having a good time, but I'm coming from a different background of shooters. It's tough to get into these ones sometimes, but there's a lot to look forward to here, I think.
I'm now curious, Corey, that you're obviously more of a Call of Duty guy, right? Like, straight up, that's your genre, that's your go-to. So when you now get in the world of FragPunk, where's that put it in comparison to a Call of Duty for you?
They are both shooters, but man, are they totally different games, right? Like, I've been playing a lot of X Defiant lately since that's come out, and mixing that in with the regular COD play that I normally do. But now, kind of jumping into this style of first-person shooter, where I do get the Overwatch feeling of being able to have abilities with my characters, but it does have that Counter-Strike movement where I kind of described to you guys before this. I felt like I was kind of slow, and I mean, like, I'm coming from the sweaty COD world where we're slide canceling around corners and door bang and all different kinds of stuff, but in this game requires you to have a more strategic style of movement, where I think for me it would just take longer for me to get into this style of game, but by no means would I have a bad time, because I had a good time playing this. It was just frustrating at times for me.
Oh, that's fair. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, I have to echo the similar feeling about the movement. In these games, it's just something about the game type that you're in. You're not running and gunning. It's not like that. But in kind of a contrast to games that are similar to this, the Counter-Strikes, the Valorants, I found this one to be a little quicker. I felt a little bit lighter as a character. Like, I wasn't just a picture of a character standing there ready to get shot. It was a little bit more forgiving that way, and that's kind of where my highlight was the forgiving in the controls. We're playing mouse and keyboard, and although I'm not very used to that, I'm kind of proficient at it, and I found that this game actually allowed me to get a little bit more of that. I could actually express that without just dying.
That was cool. I had a good time. I'm not mouse and keys whatsoever. That's where I struggled straight up. And I knew I was going into the beta, right? But at the end of the day, once this comes over to console, then I'm gonna get into it. That's really what I'm waiting for, is my opportunity here to bring to console. We had 10 Lancers, which is basically like their operators to go with. I'm from a Siege background, so here we go. It's my right. So we had 10 Lancers to get into, and we had to plant the converter. So it's like bomb in a sense, right? Where we had to put the plant down to defuse the bomb. So it's very. We've done this before. I think that's where my biggest concern comes up. However, shard cards are the huge highlight for me in FragPunk. So basically what happens is that you get opportunities to buy these cards. And these cards change the outcome and opportunities laid forward when it comes to this next round, right? Everybody gets points. How you get points is you win the round, you get kills, and so forth as you progress through each round. And these cards are like little modifiers, more or less. Some will give you more health, others will give you different damage, other things will do this, that, and the other. I thought that was really cool. And it makes every round feel different because of these cards. That was a highlight for me, but it is very Counter-Strike Valorant-esque in a sense, right? With a hero shooter element too. You get these special abilities, you can kind of one-off, and then, but it does feel, if you're able to get in there with a team to coordinate the strategic way to kind of plant the converter and so forth, I think that's where you're really going to shine and have a good time. It's always coming down to, teammates and the cooperation when it comes to a competitive shooter. I think that's where FragPunk has something different because of these shard cards and the team cooperation hand in hand, because no round will ever be the same.
No. Visually, I think this is where the game and the shard cards work into this. Is the visual of this game, they look so good. I mean, the abilities when you're launching different types of abilities. I know the one guy had this big kind of long snake style smoke screen, which looked really cool as you kind of launched all that stuff out. The game just looked really good. It looked polished. I mean, for being in an early access version of the game we're checking out, you can expect some graphical issues. And honestly, I didn't notice anything that really popped out to me. I don't know about you guys, but my playthrough was really smooth, and I was really impressed with that. That's something that really stuck out with me. And Drew, I'll have to agree that the mechanic of the shard card is something we don't see in a game like this. So adding that really adds that extra element. And I think the more you play this game, the more rewarding it will be, especially with that mechanic.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely have to agree with both of you, but especially the shard card, the idea that it's higher level strategy. And that's what's going to be really interesting to watch in this game as it takes into that kind of role, that very serious tactical shooter role. That's where you're going to see a lot of this game and what separates this from Counter-Strike, for say. But this has my interest, and I have to recommend it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're all on the same page here. At the end of the day, I think we all have different flavors, but yeah, you got to check it out.